Have you ever sat in quiet meditation, your eyes closed, painting the most vivid picture of wealth you could possibly imagine? You see the numbers in your bank account. You feel the freedom. You construct the life of your dreams, detail by meticulous detail, only to open your eyes and feel nothing, a hollowness, a frustrating, soul-crushing disconnect between the reality in your mind and the reality of your life. If you feel stuck, if your visualizations have grown flat and your affirmations feel like empty words, it is not your fault. It is because you have been given a map that shows only half of the territory. You have been taught to build a beautiful sculpture, but no one ever told you that you must first become the sculptor. Welcome to the Abundance Alchemist. I'm Elias Vance, and today we embark on a journey together. A journey beyond the surface of manifestation and into the very source code of reality. We will not be talking about get-rich-quick schemes or financial hacks. Those are games of the ego, and they are fleeting. Instead, we will explore the timeless, unshakable principles of quantum wealth creation, the alchemical laws that govern the flow of abundance in this universe. This audiobook is your guide to a profound transformation. It is designed to help you shift from someone who chases wealth to someone who embodies it, to move from a state of wishing and hoping to a state of knowing and creating. We will dismantle the invisible barriers in your subconscious mind, heal the energetic wounds that have kept you in a cycle of lack, and align your very essence with the frequency of prosperity. This is the great work, and it begins now. Introduction. The Quantum Promise Beyond Visualization. Let's begin by acknowledging a sacred truth. The desire for abundance that you feel is not a flaw. It is not a sign of materialism or a betrayal of your spiritual values. It is the universe itself seeking fuller, grander expression through you. It is life yearning for more life. The conflict, the guilt, the shame that so many of us feel around money, that is not natural. It is a program. A deeply embedded piece of conditioning we have inherited from a world that has forgotten its own magnificent nature. For years, perhaps decades, you have been told that the key to unlocking this abundance is visualization. The law of attraction, in its most popular form, has been presented as a simple equation. Think positive thoughts, visualize your desire, and the universe will deliver it to you. And while this holds a kernel of truth, it is a dangerous oversimplification. It's like telling a student that to become a master painter, all they need to do is imagine a beautiful painting. It ignores the study of light, the mastery of brushstrokes, the understanding of color theory, and most importantly, the inner state of the artist himself. This is why so many spiritual seekers hit a plateau. They do the work. They write the affirmations, create the vision boards, meditate on their goals, but their financial reality remains stubbornly unchanged. This creates a painful cognitive dissonance. Am I doing it wrong? Is there something broken in me? Is this whole manifestation thing just a fantasy? I remember a client I worked with years ago, a wonderful woman named Maria. She was a healer, deeply spiritual, and she had visualized a thriving practice for over a decade. She could describe every detail: the beautiful office, the grateful clients, the feeling of financial ease. Yet she struggled to pay her rent. The problem wasn't in her vision. Her vision was perfect. The problem was that on a subconscious, energetic level, she didn't believe she was worthy of it. She carried a deep-seated belief, inherited from her family, that spiritual people were meant to be poor, that asking for money in exchange for her gift was somehow unclean. Her conscious mind was visualizing wealth, but her energetic body was screaming, "I am not worthy." And the universe, which responds not to our words but to our resonance, was simply delivering the reality that matched her dominant energy. This is the critical distinction we must understand. Visualization alone is a mental exercise. True creation is an energetic process. Visualization happens in your mind. Creation happens in the quantum field. And your entry ticket to that field is not the clarity of your mental image, but the purity of your energetic frequency. What is this quantum field? Let's strip away the complex physics for a moment and understand it through a more mystical lens. Imagine it as a vast, invisible, intelligent ocean of pure potential. Everything that has ever been, is, or ever will be, exists within this field as a possibility, an energetic blueprint waiting to be called into form. It is the womb of creation. It is the mind of God. It is the living source of all matter. This isn't just a metaphor. It is the frontier of our scientific understanding. Physicists now acknowledge that at the subatomic level, the universe is not made of solid things, but of probabilities, of waves of potential that only collapse into a specific particle, a specific reality when they are observed. And what is an observer? It is a point of consciousness. You are that point of consciousness. Your journey, the alchemical journey we are about to undertake, is to learn how to become a conscious observer, to learn how to intentionally collapse the waves of potential for wealth, for joy, for freedom, into your tangible, experienced reality. This requires moving beyond the mind and into the body, into the heart, into the very core of your being. Over the next 9 chapters, we will explore the alchemical laws that govern this sacred process. We will move step by step from understanding the field, to aligning your energy, to healing the blocks, to taking the inspired action that makes your dreams manifest. And I know this might challenge everything you've been taught. It's okay to feel a sense of resistance. That feeling is simply the old programming fighting to survive. Acknowledge it. Thank it for trying to protect you, and then gently choose to step beyond it. For what awaits you is not just financial wealth, but a state of being so whole, so powerful, and so aligned with the creative force of the universe that money simply becomes a natural, joyful byproduct of who you have become. This is the quantum promise. This is the path of the alchemist. Chapter 1, The Living Source, Redefining the Quantum Field. To begin our work, we must first build a new foundation. We must redefine our understanding of the very fabric of reality. The term quantum field has been used so often in spiritual circles that it can sometimes lose its power. It can become an abstract concept, a buzzword that we nod along to without truly grasping its profound implications. So let's bring it back to life. Forget for a moment the diagrams of atoms and the complex equations. I want you to experience the quantum field not as a theory, but as a living presence. Imagine you are standing on the shore of an infinite, dark, and perfectly still ocean at midnight. There are no stars, no moon, just a profound, silent darkness. This ocean is the quantum field in its state of pure potential. It is formless, but it contains the potential for all forms. It is silent, but it contains the potential for all sound. Within its depths lies the energetic blueprint for galaxies, for rainforests, for symphonies, and for the precise amount of financial abundance you desire. It is not empty. It is pregnant with everything. Now imagine you hold a single, small stone in your hand. This stone is your conscious awareness, your focused intention. When you drop that stone into the water, what happens? Ripples. Concentric circles of energy expand outwards from the point of impact. You have introduced a piece of information, a specific intention, into the field of infinite potential. You have disturbed the stillness. You have collapsed the wave of all possibilities into the specific this. This is the fundamental act of creation. The problem is, most of us are not dropping a single clear stone of intention. We are standing at the shore, our minds racing, our hearts full of conflicting emotions, and we are throwing handful after handful of gravel into the water. One piece of gravel is the desire for wealth. Another is the fear of not having enough. Another is the guilt for wanting it. Another is the subconscious belief that we don't deserve it. Another is the memory of a parent saying, "Money doesn't grow on trees." What do you get when you throw gravel into the ocean? A chaotic, messy, and unfocused splash. The ripples interfere with each other, cancelling each other out. The field receives a muddled, contradictory signal, and in its perfect impersonal wisdom, it reflects that muddled, contradictory reality back to you. A reality where you might get a small win, followed by an unexpected expense. A reality where you feel a surge of hope, followed by a wave of doubt. It is the perfect energetic match for the gravel you are throwing. The work of the alchemist is to stop throwing gravel. It is to learn how to calm the chaotic mind and heal the conflicted heart, so that you can stand at the shore of the infinite, hold a single clear polished stone of pure intention, and drop it into the field with unwavering faith. This is not a passive process. One of the greatest misconceptions about the quantum field is that it's like a cosmic vending machine. You put in a positive thought, and it dispenses a reality. But the field doesn't respond to your thoughts. Not directly. It responds to your being. It responds to the total sum of your energetic signature. This signature is composed of your conscious thoughts, yes, but more powerfully, it's composed of your subconscious beliefs, your emotional state, and the physical vibration of your body. Think of it like a musical instrument. Your thoughts might be playing the melody of "I am wealthy," but if your heart is playing the harmony of "I am not worthy," and your body is playing the bass line of "I am stressed and in survival mode," what the universe hears is not a beautiful symphony of abundance. It hears a dissonant, chaotic noise. I once worked with a very successful entrepreneur. On paper, he was the epitome of wealth. But he was miserable, constantly anxious and terrified of losing everything. He came to me wanting to manifest peace. He would spend an hour every morning visualizing a calm, serene life. But for the other 23 hours of the day, his body was in a state of high alert, his nervous system flooded with cortisol, his mind racing with worst-case scenarios. He was trying to drop a peace stone, while his entire being was throwing fear gravel. The journey for him wasn't about visualizing peace more intensely. It was about teaching his body, his very cells, how to feel safe. It was about somatic work, breath work, and healing the trauma that kept his nervous system locked in a state of emergency. When his being began to change, his experience of reality followed suit. So how do we begin to work with this living source? The first step is to cultivate a relationship with it. To stop seeing it as an external force to be manipulated and start seeing it as the very ground of your being. Here is a simple practice you can begin today. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes, and instead of focusing on what you want to get from the field, focus on the field itself. Feel the space between your hands. Feel the space in the room around you. Feel the vast, silent, intelligent emptiness that holds everything. Recognize that this isn't empty space. It is living space. It is the source. Breathe into it. With every inhale, imagine you are drawing in this pure, creative potential. With every exhale, imagine you are releasing your limited sense of self back into it. Do this for 5 minutes. Don't ask for anything. Don't try to manifest anything. Simply be with the source. By doing this, you are shifting your identity. You are moving from being a person who is in the world, trying to get things, to being a point of consciousness that is an expression of the creative field itself. You are remembering that the ocean is not separate from the wave. This is the foundational shift. Before we can learn the laws of creation, we must remember who the Creator is. You are not a victim of circumstance, subject to the random whims of the universe. You are a co-creator, a powerful focal point of consciousness through which the infinite field of potential experiences itself. Your financial reality is not a reflection of your value or your worth. It is simply a reflection of the signals you have been, up until now, unconsciously sending to this living source. Our work from this point forward is to make that signaling process conscious, to make it clear, to make it powerful, to make it a perfect match for the magnificent abundance that is your birthright. Chapter 2, The Alchemical Principle, Turning Inner Lead into Outer Gold. The ancient alchemists were obsessed with a singular magnificent goal, transmutation. Specifically, the turning of base metals, like lead, into the most precious of all metals, gold. For centuries, this quest was misunderstood by the uninitiated as a purely materialistic pursuit, a medieval get-rich-quick scheme. But the true masters of alchemy knew that the outer work of turning lead into gold was merely a metaphor for the far more important inner work, the transmutation of the human soul. The lead was the dense, heavy, unconscious parts of the human psyche: fear, shame, guilt, ignorance, and the feeling of being separate from the divine. The gold was the enlightened soul, radiant, incorruptible, and unified with the source of all creation. The alchemical laboratory was not a workshop of furnaces and beakers. It was the inner landscape of the alchemist himself. This ancient metaphor is the single most powerful key to understanding quantum wealth creation. Your financial life is an exact mirror of your inner alchemical state. A life of financial struggle, debt, and scarcity is the outer manifestation of inner lead. These are the heavy, dense energies of unworthiness, of limiting beliefs about money, of ancestral trauma around survival. A life of financial freedom, flow, and joyful prosperity is the outer manifestation of inner gold. This is the radiant, high-frequency energy of worthiness, of an abundance consciousness, of a deep and abiding trust in the universe. Therefore, the work of attracting wealth is not about adding something to yourself. It is not about learning a new technique or finding the right secret. It is a process of purification. It's about identifying the lead within your own consciousness and courageously submitting it to the transmutative fire of your awareness. So, what is this lead? Let's make it tangible. It shows up in many forms. It is that tightening in your chest when you look at your credit card bill. It is the quiet voice of guilt that whispers when you consider investing in yourself. It is the subtle but persistent feeling that people like me don't get to be wealthy. It is the envy you feel when you see someone else's success, which is really just a reflection of your own perceived lack. It is the fear of being seen as greedy or materialistic if you truly embrace your desire for financial freedom. These are not just negative thoughts. They are dense, low-frequency energetic patterns stored in your body and your subconscious mind. And like a heavy anchor, they keep your overall energetic signature tethered to a low-frequency reality. You can say, "I'm a money magnet 1,000 times a day." But if the lead of "I am not worthy" is sitting in your energetic field, the universe will respond to the anchor, not the affirmation. The first step in any alchemical process is calcination. This is the process of heating a solid to a high temperature to burn away impurities. In our inner work, calcination is the process of bringing the fierce, loving fire of your conscious awareness to your limiting beliefs. It is about having the courage to look at your lead without judgment. I invite you to do this now. Take a piece of paper, and at the top write, "The stories I tell myself about money are," and then just write. Don't filter, don't judge. Let it all come out. Money is hard to come by. Rich people are greedy. I have to work myself to the bone to be successful. Wanting money makes me a bad person. I'm just not good with money. If I have a lot of money, people will only want me for my money. Fill the page. What you are doing is taking the unconscious lead that has been running your life from the shadows and dragging it out into the light. This act alone is incredibly powerful. You cannot transmute what you cannot see. I remember doing this exercise for the first time myself. I'd always considered myself to have a positive mindset. But when I was truly honest, a flood of inherited beliefs came out. I wrote down, "To be safe, you must always have a little less than you need." I was shocked. Where did that come from? And I instantly had a memory of my grandfather, a man who lived through the Great Depression. constantly talking about the importance of making do and the dangers of having too much. That belief wasn't mine, it was his. But I had been carrying it, living it, and creating my financial reality from it my entire life. It was a heavy piece of ancestral lead. Seeing it on the page was the first step to dissolving it. The second alchemical stage is dissolution. This involves dissolving the ashes from calcination in water. For us, this water is the energy of radical self-compassion and forgiveness. After you've identified your leaden beliefs, you don't fight them. You don't shame yourself for having them. You dissolve them with love. Look at the list you made. For each belief, close your eyes and ask, where did I learn this? Who was trying to protect me by teaching me this? Perhaps it was a parent who struggled and wanted to shield you from disappointment. Perhaps it was society teaching you that your worth was tied to your productivity. Realize that these beliefs were not created to harm you. They were created from a place of fear and a desire for safety. Then you can say to this belief, either out loud or internally, I see you. I understand where you came from. I thank you for trying to protect me. But I'm an adult now. I am safe, and I am choosing to release you. You are no longer needed. Feel the energy of this. It's not a battle. It is a loving release. You are dissolving the old dense energy in the healing waters of your own compassion. This is the core of the alchemical principle. You don't get wealthy by ignoring your darkness. You get wealthy by transmuting it. Every fear you have about money is a doorway. Every limiting belief is a chunk of lead waiting to be turned into gold. Your triggers are your greatest teachers. When you feel that old familiar clench of financial anxiety, don't run from it. Welcome it, ask it, what are you here to show me? What piece of lead is now ready to be transformed? This approach changes everything. It turns your financial journey from a stressful, frustrating struggle into a sacred, fascinating path of self-discovery and empowerment. You begin to understand that your net worth is not a measure of your value, but a barometer of your inner alchemy. And you realize you have the power to change it, not by manipulating the outer world, but by courageously and lovingly tending to the inner one. This is the work. This is the path. Turn inward and the outer will transform. Chapter 3. The Resonance Mandate. Aligning your frequency with financial flow, we have established that the quantum field is a living ocean of potential, and that our inner state is the alchemical furnace where our reality is forged. Now we arrive at the central mechanism of creation, the very engine of manifestation. This is what I call the resonance mandate. The principle is simple, yet it is the most misunderstood aspect of the law of attraction. The universe does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are. It does not respond to your pleas, your desires, or your affirmations. It responds to your energetic frequency, your dominant state of being, like attracts like. This is not a philosophy. It is physics. It is the law of resonance. Think of a tuning fork. If you have two tuning forks that are calibrated to the same frequency, say the note of C, and you strike one of them, the other one, even across the room, will begin to vibrate and hum with the same note. It has no choice. It is responding to a resonant frequency. However, if the second tuning fork is calibrated to the note of G, you can strike the C fork all day long, as loudly as you want, and the G fork will remain silent. It is not a vibrational match. Your desires for wealth, for freedom, for joy are like silent tuning forks waiting across the room. They already exist as a specific frequency in the quantum field. The tuning fork of $10 million is humming silently in the field of potential. The tuning fork of a debt-free life is humming. The tuning fork of a thriving, soul-aligned business is humming. You are the other tuning fork. Your job is not to scream at the universe, I want to be a C note. Your job is to calibrate yourself to become a C note. When you, through your inner work, begin to vibrate at the same frequency as the reality you desire, that reality has no choice but to manifest in your life. It must. It is the law of resonance. This is why acting as if can be so powerful, but also so easily misinterpreted. It's not about pretending. It's not about faking it till you make it in a way that feels inauthentic. It's about generating the genuine feeling state of your desire fulfilled, here and now. The quantum field does not understand your words. It does not speak English or Spanish or Japanese. The language of the quantum field is the language of feeling, the language of frequency. So how do you know what the frequency of wealth feels like? It is not the frequency of excitement or greed. It is not the manic energy of winning the lottery. The true frequency of sustainable, soul-aligned wealth is composed of much deeper, more grounded emotional states. It is the feeling of safety, the deep cellular knowing that you are provided for, that all your needs are met. It is the feeling of your nervous system being calm and relaxed, not in a constant state of fight or flight over bills and expenses. It is the feeling of freedom, the spaciousness to make choices based on desire, not obligation, the ability to say yes to what lights you up and no to what drains you, without fear of financial consequence. It is the feeling of ease, the sense that life flows, that opportunities come to you, that you are supported. It is the opposite of struggle, of hustle, of forcing things to happen. It is the feeling of gratitude, not a forced gratitude for what you have, but a profound, overwhelming sense of appreciation for the abundance that is already flowing through your life in 1,000 different ways. The air you breathe, the relationships you cherish, the beauty you witness, and most importantly, it is the feeling of worthiness, the unshakable core belief that you are inherently deserving of all this safety, freedom, ease, and gratitude, simply because you exist. These feelings, safety, freedom, ease, gratitude, worthiness, are the notes that make up the chord of abundance. Your work is to practice playing this chord within your own being until it becomes your dominant, natural state. I once guided a client, a man named David, who was obsessed with manifesting a specific number, $1 million. He visualized the number, wrote it on sticky notes, affirmed it constantly. But he was deeply stressed, overworked, and felt completely trapped in his current job. His frequency was one of entrapment and struggle. I asked him to forget the number for a week. Instead, I gave him an assignment. For the next 7 days, your only job is to find and cultivate moments of true freedom. He was confused at first, but he started small. He took a different route to work just to see something new. He used his lunch break to sit in a park instead of at his desk. He said no to a weekend project he didn't want to do. He started to notice the feeling of spaciousness, of choice, of freedom in these small moments. By the end of the week, something had shifted in him. He was lighter, more creative. A few weeks later, an unexpected business opportunity came to him, seemingly out of nowhere, that was a much better energetic match for the freedom he had started to cultivate. It wasn't the $1 million he had been chasing, but it was the feeling he had been chasing, which the $1 million was just a symbol for. He had started to resonate with freedom, so a reality that offered more freedom showed up. This is how it works. You must stop focusing on the thing you want and start obsessing over the feeling the thing will give you. Don't chase the money. Chase the feeling of security. Don't chase the luxury car. Chase the feeling of joy and freedom. Here is a powerful alchemical practice. Set aside 10 minutes. Close your eyes. And instead of visualizing what you want, ask your heart, what does the feeling of complete financial ease feel like in my body? Don't think about it. Feel it. Where does it live in you? Is it a warmth in your chest? A relaxation in your shoulders? A sense of groundedness in your feet? Let that feeling emerge, however subtle it is at first. Breathe into it, expand it. Let it fill every cell of your body. You are not pretending. You are activating a frequency that already exists within you as a potential. Your only task is to practice this feeling state so often that it becomes more familiar to your body than your old states of stress and worry. You are literally rewiring your brain and reconditioning your body to a new energetic set point. You are calibrating your tuning fork. Do this daily without any attachment to the outcome. Do it for the joy of feeling good. The feeling itself is the reward. When you make the feeling your primary goal, the manifestation of the outer reality that matches it is simply the inevitable echo. This is the resonance mandate. You do not attract what you want. You attract who you are being. So who are you choosing to be in this very moment? Chapter 4, Excavating the Subconscious, Transmuting Your Deepest Money Blocks. Imagine your consciousness is like an iceberg. The small part you see above the water, that is your conscious mind. It's the part that sets goals, makes plans, and recites affirmations. It's the part that says, I want to be wealthy. But the vast, massive, powerful part of the iceberg that lies beneath the surface, that is your subconscious mind. It is the storehouse of all your memories, your deepest beliefs, your emotional patterns, and your autonomic bodily functions. It is the operating system that runs your life. And here is the crucial truth. Your subconscious mind is 1,000,000 times more powerful than your conscious mind. If your conscious mind is the captain on the deck of a ship shouting full speed ahead to the island of abundance, but your subconscious mind is the massive engine room deep below, steering the ship towards the familiar shores of scarcity and struggle. Where do you think the ship is going to end up? Every single time, the subconscious mind wins. This is why so many people feel like they are sabotaging themselves. They consciously want one thing, but they find themselves repeating the same patterns of behavior and getting the same results. It's not a lack of willpower. It's a conflict in programming. Your financial life today is a perfect printout of the money programming in your subconscious mind. These programs, these money blocks, were typically installed in your childhood, between the ages of 0 and 7. During this time, your brain was in a theta wave state, which is essentially a state of hypnosis. You were a sponge, absorbing beliefs about the world, about yourself, and about money directly from your environment, your parents, your community, the culture you grew up in. You didn't have the critical faculty to question them. You simply accepted them as truth. Statements like, we can't afford that, money is the root of all evil, you have to work hard for your money, or even just the unspoken tension and arguments your parents had about bills, all of this was downloaded directly into your operating system. It became the foundation of your relationship with money. The process of quantum wealth creation, therefore, is not about adding new positive programming on top of the old. That's like trying to run a brand new piece of software on a computer that is riddled with viruses. First, you must do the work of excavation. You must bring the old, limiting, virus-like programs out of the darkness of the subconscious and into the light of your conscious awareness, where they can be healed and transmuted. So how do we access this deep programming? The subconscious speaks not in words, but in symbols, feelings, and images. We must learn its language. One of the most powerful alchemical tools for this excavation is what I call the money mirror meditation. I want you to try this, perhaps not now, but when you have a private, quiet moment. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Allow yourself to relax. Now, I want you to imagine that you are walking into a dimly lit room. In the center of the room, there is a large, ornate, full-length mirror. This is no ordinary mirror. This is the mirror of your subconscious. It doesn't reflect your physical appearance. It reflects your energetic truth about money. As you stand before this mirror, I want you to imagine a version of yourself who is the complete embodiment of financial abundance. This version of you is calm, powerful, free, and radiantly wealthy. See this version of you in the mirror. Now, as this wealthy version of you, I want you to say out loud, I am worthy of all the abundance the universe has to offer. And then you listen. You watch. You feel. The moment you make that declaration of worthiness, the subconscious blocks will begin to reveal themselves. You might hear a small voice in your head that says, no, you're not. You might feel a sudden pang of anxiety in your stomach. You might see a fleeting image of your mother's worried face. You might feel a wave of sadness or anger. Whatever comes up, do not judge it. Do not push it away. This is the lead. This is the subconscious programming revealing itself. Your only job is to witness it with compassion. These are the parts of you that need healing. Let's say you hear the voice, "No, you're not." Gently ask it, "Who told you that? Where did you learn that I wasn't worthy?" Just be curious. The answer might surprise you. An image of a teacher who shamed you in the 3rd grade might pop into your mind. This isn't random. It's your subconscious showing you the root of the program. Once the root is revealed, the transmutation can begin. Let's stay with the example of the shaming teacher. You can now, in your mind's eye, see that little 3rd grade version of yourself. See how that experience made them feel small and unworthy. And from your present adult consciousness, you can give that child what they needed then, but didn't receive. You can tell them you did nothing wrong. You are brilliant and worthy and loved. That person's judgment had nothing to do with you. You are reparenting yourself. You are rewriting the code at the source. If a feeling of anxiety comes up in your body, breathe into it. Place a hand on that part of your body and just send it love. Say, it's okay. You're safe now. You are discharging the trapped emotional energy that has been stored in your cells for decades. This is deep work. This is true alchemy. It's not always comfortable. Sometimes it can be painful to excavate these old wounds, but it is the only way to create lasting change. If you merely plaster positive affirmations over these deep, unhealed wounds, you are building your financial house on a rotten foundation. It will inevitably collapse. If this idea makes you uncomfortable, good. That means we're touching on a truth that needs to be healed. Be gentle with yourself. This is not a race. Each block you identify and transmute is a massive victory. Each layer of lead you turn to gold raises your entire energetic frequency, making you a more powerful magnet for the abundance that is trying to reach you. I'll share a quick story from my own journey. For years, I had a block around receiving. I was great at giving, but incredibly uncomfortable when people tried to give to me, whether it was a gift, a compliment, or even just paying for lunch. Through this deep excavation work, I uncovered a memory from when I was about 6 years old. I'd proudly given my father a drawing I made, and he, being busy and stressed, brushed it off without really looking at it. In my 6-year-old mind, the program was installed. What I have to offer is not valuable. Therefore, I am not worthy of receiving. That single, seemingly small event created a subconscious program that blocked the flow of abundance in my life for 30 years. Healing that little boy within me, telling him his gifts were magnificent, unlocked a flow of receiving in my life that was simply astonishing. Your subconscious holds your own unique stories, your own unique blocks. Have the courage to look in the mirror. Have the compassion to heal what you see. This excavation is the most important work you will ever do on your path to true, sustainable wealth. If you're finding this journey valuable and believe it could help someone else, I invite you to share this audiobook with them. Sometimes, the greatest abundance we can receive is the joy of helping another on their path. Chapter 5. The Power of Pure Intention, from Passive Wishing to Conscious Creation. So, we've laid the groundwork. We understand the quantum field as a living ocean of potential, and we've begun the vital work of transmuting the lead of our subconscious limitations into the gold of energetic alignment. We've talked about resonance, how the universe mirrors back to us the dominant frequency we're broadcasting. But how do we actually direct that broadcast? How do we move from simply wishing for abundance to consciously creating it? This is where the power of pure intention comes into play. You see, it's easy to get stuck in the realm of vague wishing. You might say, "I wish I had more money," or "I wish I were financially free." These are desires, yes, but they lack the focused, charged energy of pure intention. Wishing is passive. Intention is active. Wishing is a whisper. Intention is a command. Think about it this way. Imagine you're standing on the edge of that infinite quantum ocean we talked about. Wishing is like flinging a handful of sand in a general direction and hoping for the best. Intention, pure intention, is like holding a precisely calibrated laser beam focused on a single point, capable of cutting through anything. The universe, in its boundless intelligence, doesn't respond to vague hopes. It responds to the specific energetic signature you imprint upon it. And that imprint is made by pure, focused intention. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Elias, I do intend to be wealthy. I think about it all the time. And I believe you. But there's a crucial difference between a thought that flits in and out of your mind and an intention that is so deeply felt, so energetically charged, that it becomes an undeniable force. What separates a wish from a pure intention? Two key elements: specificity and emotional charge. Let's break down specificity first. A vague desire like more money is like telling a chef, I want food. It's not actionable. The chef has no idea what to prepare. You need to be specific. What kind of money? How much? For what purpose? But it goes deeper than just the number. It's about the quality of the intention. When you set an intention, it needs to be clear, concise, and singular. If you're trying to manifest financial freedom, your intention isn't, I want to be rich, and I want to lose 10 pounds, and I want a new car. Your mind, and therefore the quantum field, can get confused by trying to chase too many rabbits at once. It's like a powerful laser beam that you keep flickering on and off and aiming at different targets. The beam never gets strong enough to cut through anything, so the first step in pure intention is clarity. What is the single most dominant financial reality you are committed to creating now? Be specific. Write it down. State it clearly. But specificity is only half the equation. The other, arguably more powerful half, is the emotional charge. This is where the alchemy truly happens. A thought without feeling is just a thought. An intention charged with pure, positive emotion is a creation engine. Remember Maria, the healer I mentioned earlier. Her conscious mind was visualizing a thriving practice, but her subconscious was screaming, I am not worthy. Her intention wasn't pure because it was riddled with the lead of self-doubt. The universe heard the doubt, not the desire. Pure intention is not just about wanting something. It's about feeling the essence of what that something will bring you, as if it has already happened. It's about imbuing your desired outcome with the highest possible emotional vibration. This is where gratitude becomes your most potent alchemical tool. When you set an intention, don't just state it. Feel gratitude for it as if it is already a done deal. Let's try a thought experiment. Close your eyes for a moment. Now imagine you have just received an unexpected windfall, enough money to completely clear all your debts and live comfortably for a year. How does that feel? Does your chest loosen? Do you feel a wave of relief wash over you? Does a smile spread across your face? That feeling, that relief, that freedom, that joy, that is the emotional charge. That is what you need to infuse into your intention. So instead of just saying, I intend to be wealthy, you would set an intention like this. I deeply and joyfully intend to receive a sum of $50,000 by the end of next quarter, which will allow me to fully fund my dream business and experience complete financial freedom. I'm so grateful for this manifestation. See the difference? Specific, $50,000 by the end of next quarter. Fully fund my dream business, complete financial freedom, emotionally charged, deeply and joyfully intend. So grateful. When you combine specificity with a high vibrational emotional charge, you create a powerful energetic blueprint. You are sending a clear, unambiguous signal to the quantum field. You are essentially saying, this is the reality I am committed to. This is the frequency I'm now embodying. And here's a critical part of conscious creation, releasing the how. This is where many people get tripped up. They set an intention, charge it with emotion, and then spend the rest of their time obsessing over how it's going to happen. Who will give me the money? How will this opportunity appear? What steps do I need to take? This is like the diligent student who has studied all the master painters, understands color theory, and has practiced their brush strokes. They have a pure intention to create a masterpiece. But then, instead of painting, they stand over the canvas, paralyzed, worrying about how the paint will adhere to the canvas, how the colors will blend, how the brush will move. The creation process gets stifled by the anxiety of the unknown. Your job is to set the intention with pure, unwavering faith, charge it with the emotion of its fulfillment, and then release the mechanism of its arrival to the universe. The quantum field is infinitely more intelligent and resourceful than your conscious mind. It knows how to connect the dots, orchestrate events, and bring your desires into form in ways you can't even imagine. Your role is to be the alchemist who purifies the metal, your intention, and then trusts the cosmic furnace to do its work. Trying to control the how is a sign of a lack of trust, a subtle whisper of the old scarcity programming. It's like trying to micromanage God. It doesn't work. So to recap the power of pure intention, clarity. Be incredibly specific about your desired outcome. Write it down. State it clearly. Emotional charge. Infuse your intention with the highest possible positive emotions. Gratitude is your secret weapon here. Feel it as if it has already happened. Release the how. Trust the universe to deliver. Your role is to set the intention and embody the feeling. The universe's role is to orchestrate the arrival. I remember speaking with a client, a young woman named Chloe, who wanted to manifest a specific amount of money to fund a new business venture. She'd visualized it, affirmed it, but nothing. We worked on her intention. Instead of, "I want $10,000, we reframed it to, "I deeply and gratefully intend to receive $10,000 by October 15th, in a way that aligns with my highest good and allows me to launch my passion project with joy and confidence." Just days later, she received an unexpected inheritance from a distant relative, exactly the amount she needed, right when she needed it. It wasn't magic. It was pure intention meeting divine timing. This is not about bending the universe to your will. It is about aligning your will with the universe. It is about becoming a conscious conduit for the abundance that is already flowing. When your intention is pure, when it's charged with the energy of gratitude and released with trust, you are no longer just wishing for wealth. You are creating it. You are becoming the alchemist of your own destiny. And if you found even one piece of value in this journey so far, consider sharing this audiobook with someone who might also be on the cusp of their own alchemical transformation. Your sharing can spark a ripple of abundance for others. Chapter 6, The Forgiveness Ledger, Dissolving Financial Guilt at the Energetic Root. We've explored the power of intention and the necessity of emotional charge. But even with the clearest intention and the highest vibration, there's a subtle yet pervasive energetic anchor that can drag down our manifestations: financial guilt. This guilt can manifest in so many ways, can't it? It's the feeling you get when you spend money on yourself, especially on something you consider a luxury. It's the shame that whispers, "You shouldn't have this when so many others have so little." It's the inherited programming that tells us wanting wealth is somehow selfish, greedy, or even spiritually impure. And here's a profound truth about guilt: it's incredibly dense. It's a heavy, low-frequency emotion that acts like an energetic poison, seeping into every aspect of your financial life. It's like trying to build a magnificent mansion on a foundation of quicksand. The guilt tells the universe, "I don't deserve this. I'm not good enough." And guess what? The universe, always a perfect mirror, delivers exactly that. The ancient alchemists understood that purification was essential. They knew that the impurities, the lead, had to be burned away. For us, in the realm of quantum wealth creation, this purification often means confronting and dissolving financial guilt through the powerful alchemical process of forgiveness. And forgiveness, my friends, is not about condoning bad behavior or saying it's okay when it's not. Energetically speaking, forgiveness is about releasing yourself from the energetic debt you owe to the past. It's about severing the energetic cords that tie you to resentment, to shame, and to regret. Holding on to guilt is like carrying around a heavy, invisible ledger filled with every financial mistake you've ever made, every perceived wrong, and every moment of self-recrimination. This ledger weighs you down, it poisons your energetic signature, and it blocks the free flow of abundance. We need to start by forgiving ourselves. So often we beat ourselves up over past financial decisions. Maybe you made a bad investment. Maybe you spent too much on something you regret. Maybe you feel you haven't done enough to secure your financial future. These thoughts and feelings create a powerful energetic loop of self-punishment. Imagine a client I worked with. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah was a brilliant graphic designer, incredibly talented. She had a clear intention to build her own freelance business. But every time she tried to charge her clients what she knew she was worth, a wave of guilt would wash over her. She felt like she was ripping people off. Where did this come from? We discovered she'd had a childhood experience where she'd sold some of her drawings for a small amount, and a neighbor had scoffed, saying she was profiting off her talent in a judgmental way. This seed of guilt, planted when she was young, had grown into a massive block. She couldn't embody wealth because she felt fundamentally guilty for even thinking about deserving it. The first step is to bring this guilt to the light. Ask yourself, what financial mistakes do I constantly replay in my mind? What do I feel ashamed of when it comes to money? What do I tell myself about why I don't deserve financial abundance? Once you identify these things, it's time to offer yourself radical self-compassion. For each of those past mistakes or perceived failures, imagine yourself as that younger, less experienced version of you. What would you say to them? You'd likely offer understanding, perhaps a reminder that we all learn as we go. You'd offer them grace. And that's exactly what you need to offer yourself now. You can say something like, "To my past self who made that financial decision, I see you. I understand you were doing the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. I forgive you for any perceived mistakes. I release the shame and regret associated with that. I'm now operating from a place of greater wisdom and love. This isn't about forgetting or excusing. It's about energetically releasing the burden. You're not erasing the lesson, but you are removing the emotional poison that keeps you stuck in that lesson. Then we must extend forgiveness outward. This can be harder. We often carry resentment towards others for perceived financial injustices. Maybe a business partner wronged you. Maybe a family member didn't support you financially when you needed it. Maybe you feel the system is rigged against you. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It doesn't harm them. It harms you. It keeps you energetically tethered to them, to that event, to that victim consciousness. When you forgive someone, you are not saying they were right. You are reclaiming your own energy. You are saying, I release my claim on your past behavior, and I reclaim my own power. I remember working with a client, Mark, who was seething with resentment towards his former business partner. This partner had essentially stolen a lucrative client from him years ago, causing Mark significant financial and emotional pain. For years, Mark would replay this event, feeling that searing anger. Naturally, his business stagnated. His energy was focused on that past hurt, not on creating future abundance. We did a powerful forgiveness exercise. Mark had to visualize his former partner and, with all the conviction he could muster, say, I forgive you for what happened. I release you from my judgment. I forgive myself for holding on to this anger. I reclaim my energy and my power. It was difficult. Tears flowed. But in that release, something shifted. Within weeks, Mark started receiving incredibly positive referrals from unexpected places. He had stopped broadcasting victim and started broadcasting healer and creator. Even forgiving the system is crucial. Many people feel a deep-seated injustice about the economic structures, about inequality, about the perceived unfairness of how wealth is distributed. This feeling of being a victim of the system can be a profound block. Forgiving the system means acknowledging its imperfections without letting that acknowledgement paralyze you. It means recognizing that while the outer game may be flawed, your inner alchemy is still the ultimate power. So how do we practically engage with this forgiveness ledger? Identify. Make a list of people, situations, or beliefs about money that evoke feelings of guilt, shame, or resentment. Be honest with yourself. Acknowledge, for each item on your list, acknowledge the pain or disappointment it caused. Don't bypass it. Feel it, release. This is the core alchemical act. Imagine your energetic cords to this person or situation. Visualize cutting them with a brilliant golden cord. Or speak your forgiveness out loud, either to the person, in your mind, or even in a letter you don't send, or to the situation. I forgive myself for X. I forgive person's name for Y. I forgive the system for Z. I release all energetic ties to these past pains. I reclaim my energy and my worthiness. Fill the void. What energetic space does this release create? Now actively choose to fill that space with gratitude, with worthiness, with the feeling of financial freedom. This process is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice. As you continue to evolve and grow, new layers of guilt or old resentments may surface. The key is to approach them with the same spirit of compassionate release. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is immense strength. It is the act of reclaiming your power from the past and opening yourself to receive the abundance that is your birthright. When you clear the ledger of guilt and resentment, you clear the path for wealth to flow freely. You become lighter, brighter, and so much more magnetic to prosperity. Chapter 7. Inspired Action versus Desperate Hustle, Navigating Your Path Without Struggle. We've talked about intention, resonance, and forgiveness. We've essentially built the energetic foundation for wealth creation. But how do we actually walk this path? How do we move from inner alignment to outer manifestation in a way that feels effortless and aligned rather than exhausting and forced? This is where we must distinguish between desperate hustle and inspired action. The world, and often the self-help gurus within it, tells us that success requires a relentless hustle. It's the rise and grind mentality, the sleep when you're dead mantra. It's fueled by the belief that if you're not constantly pushing, straining, and working yourself to the bone, you're not really committed. You're lazy. You're not trying hard enough. This hustle mentality is born from fear. It's the voice of scarcity screaming, if I stop, I'll lose everything. If I don't push harder, it'll all disappear. It's driven by the conscious mind's frantic attempt to control outcomes, to force reality into submission. And what is the energetic signature of hustle? It's tension, anxiety, exhaustion, and a deep underlying feeling of lack. It's like trying to push a boulder uphill with your nose. It's incredibly difficult, draining, and ultimately unsustainable. When you operate from this place of hustle, your actions, even if they appear outwardly successful, are energetically tainted. You might achieve financial goals, but at what cost? Burnout, strained relationships, a chronic sense of unease. The universe responds to the energy behind your actions, not just the actions themselves. So even if you're working 80-hour weeks, if it's driven by fear and lack, you're still broadcasting a frequency that attracts more struggle, not more ease. Now, let's talk about inspired action. This is a completely different phenomenon. Inspired action is not about forcing things. It's about flowing with them. It's action that arises from a place of deep inner knowing, intuition, and alignment with your higher self. It feels different. Imagine you're painting that masterpiece we discussed earlier. Hustle is like frantically slapping paint onto the canvas, trying to get it done as quickly as possible, worrying about every stroke. Inspired action is like picking up the brush, feeling the energy of the painting, and knowing precisely where the next stroke should go, what color to use, and how to blend it perfectly. It feels natural, it feels right, and it flows. I remember a client, a musician named Leo, who was trying to break into the industry. He was spending hours every day networking aggressively, sending out hundreds of demo tapes, constantly chasing gigs. It was pure hustle. He was exhausted, discouraged, and his music, while technically proficient, lacked a certain soul. Then one day, he had a spontaneous idea. He felt an overwhelming urge to collaborate with a local poet he'd met briefly at a cafe. He wasn't thinking about money or success. He just felt this profound pull, this creative spark. He followed it. He reached out. The collaboration was magical, producing a song that went viral and caught the attention of a major label. The action wasn't forced. It was inspired. It came from a place of aligned creativity, not desperate ambition. So how do you distinguish between the two? How do you know if you're hustling or acting from inspiration? The feeling. This is the primary indicator. Does the action feel like a heavy, draining obligation? Or does it feel light, energizing, and even exciting, despite the effort involved? Inspired action might require effort, but it doesn't typically feel like a soul-crushing burden. It feels purposeful. The source. Is the action driven by fear and a belief in lack? Or is it driven by a sense of inner knowing, intuition, or a creative impulse? If you're constantly asking, what do I have to do? That's hustle. If you're asking, what feels aligned and exciting to explore now? That's inspiration. The outcome. Hustle often leads to burnout, resentment, and a feeling of never having enough. Inspired action, while not always resulting in instant external success, leads to a sense of fulfillment, growth, and an increasingly aligned reality. Even if an inspired action doesn't immediately pay off in a conventional sense, it always moves you closer to your authentic path. The how is revealed. Hustle tries to force the how. Inspired action trusts that the how will be revealed. When you're in a state of hustle, you're desperately trying to figure out every single step. When you're in inspired action, you take the next step that feels right, and then you wait for the next one to appear. The journey of quantum wealth creation is not about brute force. It's about intelligent, aligned movement. It's about cultivating a deep connection to your inner guidance system. That intuitive knowing that always guides you towards your highest good. Here's a practice to help you cultivate inspired action. Quiet your mind. Before you try to decide what to do, spend a few minutes in stillness. Meditate, do some deep breathing, or simply sit quietly. This allows the noise of your conscious mind to settle, making space for intuitive whispers. Ask the right question. Instead of asking, what do I need to do to make money? Try asking, what action today feels most aligned with my true essence? What is the most joyful and creative way I can move forward right now? What step, however small, feels like a natural progression of my energetic alignment? Listen for the feeling. Pay attention to the feeling that arises with any potential action. Does it feel expansive, light, and exciting? Or does it feel constricted, heavy, and fearful? Trust that feeling. Take the next aligned step. Once you identify an inspired action, take it. Don't overthink it. Don't second-guess it, just do it. Then pause, check in with your inner guidance, and wait for the next inspired step. Remember Maria, the healer I mentioned earlier? She was stuck in hustle mode, taking on clients she didn't truly connect with just to make ends meet. When we shifted her focus to inspired action, she started to tune into what kind of healing work truly lit her up. She began offering specialized workshops on energy healing, which she found deeply fulfilling. This wasn't about working harder. It was about working smarter by aligning her efforts with her passion. Her income eventually increased dramatically, but more importantly, her work became a source of joy and fulfillment, not just financial necessity. The path to wealth is not a battlefield. It's a dance. Hustle is trying to win a fight with the universe. Inspired action is gracefully moving with its rhythm. By trusting your intuition, by allowing your actions to be guided by your inner compass, you unlock a level of effectiveness and joy that the desperate hustle can never replicate. You stop chasing wealth and start embodying it effortlessly. Chapter 8. Grounding the Quantum. Rituals and practices to embody abundance daily. We've covered a lot of ground. We've journeyed from the vastness of the quantum field to the depths of our subconscious. We've learned to set pure intentions, to release guilt, and to distinguish between hustle and inspired action. But all of this profound inner work needs to be anchored in our daily lives. If we don't consistently embody these principles, they remain mere intellectual concepts, like beautiful blueprints for a house that's never built. This is where daily rituals and practices become essential. They are the alchemical fires that we tend to every single day, keeping the energy of abundance alive and vibrant within us. They are the consistent, deliberate acts that transform theoretical knowledge into lived reality. Think of it like training for a marathon. You don't just decide one day to run 26.2 miles and expect to finish. You train consistently. You build your endurance, strengthen your muscles, and condition your body. Similarly, to embody abundance, you must consistently practice the principles of abundance. You must train your energetic system. So what are these practices? They are not about magic spells or complicated ceremonies. They are simple, repeatable actions that, when performed with intention, profoundly shift your energetic state. Let's start with gratitude. We touched on this as an emotional charge for our intentions, but its power extends far beyond that. Gratitude is a high-frequency emotion that instantly shifts your focus from lack to abundance. It recalibrates your perception, allowing you to see the prosperity that already exists in your life, often overlooked in our rush towards future desires. A powerful practice here is a gratitude rampage. It's not about being polite or restrained. For 5 to 10 minutes each day, simply list everything you are grateful for, with as much enthusiasm and detail as you can muster. Don't hold back. Be grateful for the air you breathe, for the roof over your head, for a beautiful cloud formation, for the taste of your coffee, for your health, for your loved ones, for the money you do have, for the money that is coming. The more you amplify your gratitude, the more you signal to the universe, I am in a state of receiving and appreciation. It's like turning up the volume on your abundance frequency. Another practice I highly recommend is scripting. This is where you write about your life in the present tense, as if your desires have already manifested. It's a way of embodying the reality you wish to create. Instead of writing, I want to be financially free, you would write, I am so excited to wake up each morning knowing my income streams are effortlessly flowing. I feel so secure and at peace, knowing all my financial needs are not only met, but exceeded. My business is thriving, and I have the freedom to pursue my passions with joy. The key here is to write it with feeling. Don't just jot down words. Immerse yourself in the experience. Imagine you are journaling about your incredible, abundant life today. What are you doing? How do you feel? Who are you with? The more emotionally invested you are in your scripting, the more potent it becomes as an energetic blueprint. It's a way of pre-living your desired reality. Then there's the practice of celebrating wins. This is crucial and often overlooked. We tend to focus on the big, ultimate goal and dismiss any smaller achievements along the way. But every time you experience a small financial win, a little extra money comes your way, a bill is lower than expected, you find a great deal, celebrate it, acknowledge it, express gratitude for it. This reinforces the energetic pattern of receiving and abundance. It tells the universe, yes, more of this. I've seen clients transform their financial reality simply by committing to celebrating every small win. One woman who was deeply in debt made a rule for herself. Every time she made a payment on her credit card, no matter how small, she would do a little dance, play her favorite song and say, "Thank you for this payment. I'm releasing debt and moving towards freedom." This simple act turned a chore into a celebration, shifting her energetic association with debt from one of dread to one of progress and liberation. We also need to cultivate daily practices of self-love and worthiness. If your core programming is, I am not worthy, no amount of positive affirmations will fully override it unless you actively work to change that core belief. This can involve affirmations that are more potent and specific, like the ones we discussed in the chapter on subconscious blocks. It can also involve physical practices, taking a relaxing bath, engaging in mindful movement, spending time in nature, or simply looking in the mirror and telling yourself, I love and approve of myself unconditionally. These practices are not about doing more. They are about being differently. They are about consistently choosing to embody the frequency of abundance, no matter what external circumstances may seem to suggest otherwise. Here's a sample daily alchemical practice you can adapt. Morning, 5-10 minutes, gratitude rampage. List everything you're grateful for, with energy and feeling. Intention setting. State your singular, clear intention for the day. Embodiment. Briefly embody the feeling of that intention being fulfilled. Throughout the day, mindful moments. Pause several times to check in with your energetic state. Are you feeling tension or ease? If tension arises, take a few deep breaths and consciously shift your focus to gratitude or a positive affirmation. Celebrate wins. Acknowledge and celebrate any small, positive financial occurrences. Evening, 10 to 15 minutes. Scripting. Write about your day as if it were the abundant, fulfilling day you desire. Focus on the feelings of accomplishment, joy and ease. Reflection, what went well? What inspired actions did you take? What can you release from today? This isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about showing up for yourself day after day and choosing to align with the energy of abundance. These rituals are not busy work. They are the alchemical process in action. They are how you ground the quantum, how you translate the highest potential into your tangible lived experience. As you consistently engage with these practices, you are not just hoping for wealth to appear. You are becoming the frequency of wealth. You are becoming the alchemist of your own financial reality. And when you embody that frequency, the universe has no choice but to deliver the outer manifestation of that inner truth. Outro. Becoming the source of your own wealth. We have reached the end of our journey together for today, but in truth, it is only a beginning. We have traveled from the infinite potential of the quantum field to the deepest chambers of your own subconscious mind. We have explored the ancient art of alchemy, not as a quest for outer gold, but as a sacred path to transmuting the lead of our own limitations. We have learned that the universe does not give you what you want. It mirrors who you are being. We have discovered that our feelings are the language that speaks reality into existence, and that our triggers are not curses, but invitations to heal. We have uncovered the 9 alchemical laws that govern this divine process of creation. The greatest truth I can leave you with is this: abundance is not something you acquire. It is something you become. It is not a destination you arrive at. It is a frequency you learn to hold, a state of being you choose to embody, moment by moment, breath by breath. The money, the opportunities, the flow, they are all just the beautiful, inevitable byproducts of this inner transformation. They are the echo of your own aligned soul. Your work now is to integrate these principles. To not just understand them intellectually, but to live them, to make them the very foundation of your reality. Choose one practice, one law that resonated most deeply with you, and commit to it for the next 7 days. Let it become a part of you. This path requires courage. It requires a willingness to feel what is uncomfortable, to question what you have always believed, and to trust in an invisible reality more than the circumstances you currently see before you. But I promise you, the reward is not just a healthier bank account. It is a life lived in freedom, in purpose, and in deep, unshakable connection to the creative source of all that is. It is the priceless treasure of self-mastery. Now I invite you to share one insight, one aha moment from our time together in the comments below. Declaring your insight is a powerful way to anchor it into your reality. And your story may be the very thing someone else needs to read today to spark their own transformation. Your journey of alchemy continues. Do not let this momentum fade. To your left, you will find the Quantum Wealth playlist. a library of our most advanced teachings to deepen your understanding of these principles. And to your right, I have personally selected our guide, the 7 Alchemical Principles of Spiritual Investing, as the perfect next step to ground this inner work in practical, real-world financial strategy. Choose the path that calls to you now. This is Elias Vance reminding you the greatest wealth you will ever own is the knowledge of who you truly are.